Hey eBay friends, it's Suzanne A. Wells, and today's episode is called An Opposite of a Haul video. And this is where I show you actual sales that I have posted on my Pinterest board called Yep, I Sold This on eBay. I started keeping this board back in around 2013 when Pinterest first came out as a way to have a bulletin board of what kind of things sell because either friends or clients would always ask me, what can you sell on eBay? So I started keeping this just to show the diversity of items, what's possible, and to use this as a teaching tool in the future for others who want to learn what actually sells. So this is actually just a fun project that I keep up with. I still add to it now. And it's fun to look back at it just to see the diversity of items that you've sold over time, when you get into certain products and then maybe get out of them again because they weren't exactly for you. But so let's start going through some of these just so you can hopefully add this to your knowledge bank when you are out thrifting or garage sailing, taking on consignment, going to estate sales, whatever you're doing, going through your own house, whatever you're doing to figure out things to sell on eBay. So we are going to start with this doll. This is called a Tonner American Models doll. And this one I sold for the Humane Society thrift store. For a while, I was partnering with the Cherokee County Humane Society because they have a little thrift store in the area where I live. And I was in there shopping one day and just saw all this really high end stuff that they were just giving away. So I talked to the board of directors and did a whole program for them where I would sell their items for a commission, a reduced commission, not as high as I would for a individual, but since they were nonprofit, I wanted to help them out. So anyway, this doll sold for $139.97. A lady came in and was terminally ill and was donating a lot of her better items to the thrift store to sell to raise money for the animals, which a lot of animal lovers will do. So we did well on that one. And then there was another one just in her same collection that it was kind of the same. This one was called Raven. It was a little bit different, but this one sold for $130 right around the same time. So I remember those dolls sold really quickly because they were in the box. They were in almost new condition. With the dolls, you have to be careful and grade them properly, especially if even if they're in the box, they may not be brand new. They could be mint condition, or if they've been taken out of the box, uh, that kind of thing. So I had to do a little bit of learning here about how to sell dolls, which was a great experience because I learned. So anyway, this one sold for $130, and that was donated to the thrift store, so they didn't have any cost in it. And in case you're wondering, I think my commission for them was like 20%. I still charged a commission because it was work I was doing for them, but it was all about raising money. And the year I did this with them, I raised by myself selling their stuff on consignment about $1,000 a month for them. So that was a really good relationship. And I kind of quit doing it because I moved from the area. It just wasn't convenient anymore. But that was a good experience and a good relationship. Now let's go on to another item, and it is a pair of Finn Comfort shoes. Now I had not heard of these. I found these at my favorite $2 thrift store, and they just looked high quality. And I looked them up real quick on my phone and saw that this was a good brand, a high quality brand to sell, and it's called Finn, Finn Comfort, and these sold for $55. I paid $2 for those. Now, while we're on this brand, just this week on my Facebook group, someone had posted that their listing for Finn comfort shoes got removed for Vero. And I just want to take a moment to talk about this. If you're not familiar with Vero, this is eBay's brands that you can't sell, basically, or companies that have put restrictions on what of their products you can sell. Now, the reason her listing was removed was that she used the word Velcro in her title, and that is actually a protected copyrighted word that cannot be used in the title of an item. So you're going to find some shoes, sandals, kids' shoes, senior citizen shoes like athletics style that don't tie. They have the Velcro. You don't want to put that word in your title. You can put it down in the body in the description, but this is an intellectually protected copyrighted word that you cannot use, and your listing will get pulled. If it does get pulled, you will get an email from eBay that explains exactly what you did wrong and what word you used that it was is not allowed. So it should not be a mystery when this happens. You should know. If the email doesn't tell you, which it should, then you need to call eBay and find out what the problem is so you don't do it again. And that's all eBay really wants to see here, is that you are mindful of what you're doing. You respect the rules on eBay, and eBay knows they change the rules a lot, and sometimes it's hard to keep up. So you're not going to get shut down immediately if you make this mistake. So just don't put the word Velcro in your title. Put that down in the description. You can also use the words hook and loop closure, but I highly doubt anyone is going to search for that on eBay. They may search for the word Velcro, but you're really not allowed to have it. Yes, other people do have it. eBay cannot police every single listing, but I'm just putting this out there so you'll know. You've probably heard this other places on social media, but you cannot use the word Velcro in your title because it is an intellectually protected copyrighted word. And there are more of these, and I will continue to educate you on that. So I didn't want to get too far off track here. So anyway, those are called Finn comfort shoes. All right, the next item here is a sweater. 100% cashmere sweater, vintage, Neiman Marcus. And I picked this up, did I say? It was $6 at Goodwill. I paid full price for this because it looks unusual. If you are listening to this on a podcast, this is a black sweater with multicolored stripes of argyle pattern on the front. So it's got a bright purple, a bright red, teal. It almost looks like Harlequin. So it was unusual, and it was a high end brand, Neiman Marcus. 100% cashmere. It was in very good condition, and it sold for $45. So, yes, I will pay more than $3 for things if it's warranted, if I feel like I can get more money for it. I don't have any hard and fast rules about what will I pay for something. Of course, I always try to pay the lowest price. I have my thrift store route mapped out as far as what days have what sales, where to go for the best discount on what days. So I always try to stick to that. But if I can flip something for a high enough price, I don't have a set amount that I will not go over, because it's just all about what I can sell it for. Okay, let's see. The next item here is a design options sweater, which is, where is that? There it is. This is a brand I have a video about. I have a link to that at the top. These are embellished sweaters, usually with some kind of theme, whether it's a holiday, a type of food, a location like a beach, characters. They do like Disney, stuff like that. So these are quite ostentatious. They're kind of gaudy, but interesting looking, and people love them and will pay a lot for them. So this one I got for $2 at my favorite thrift store, and it sold for $54.97. And it's just a cardigan sweater with an Easter bunny on the front with some flowers, Easter colors. So bright, whimsical, interesting looking, size extra large. So those are the kind of flips I like. All right, the next item is a pair of overalls. And these were Walmart brand men's faded glory denim overalls. Oh, I even have a misspelling there. Um, Size large, and these were $2 at a thrift store, and they sold for $29.97. And it doesn't have the date it's sold, but these overalls will sell all year. So it doesn't have to just be around Halloween or springtime for gardening or winter for harvesting. They sell all year. So $2 turned that into $29.97, and it was a Walmart brand. So again, I don't have any rules for what brands I will sell, what brands I won't sell. It depends on what it is. And what that type of thing is going for, and that's how you have to look at this. eBay is a lot like the stock market. It goes up and down. You have good days and bad days, and sometimes there's just no explanation for things. You can't figure it out. I see so many of these analytical people on social media talking about eBay, and they're trying to come up with this formula of exactly how to do everything. And 2018 is my 15th year on eBay. And I can just tell you from experience, it doesn't work that way. Just like if you talk to somebody who has an antique store and you go in and you try to figure out the formula because you want to start an antique store. And, what should I have and how much should I charge and what should I do and how should I set it up? There's no system for that. It's you just have to get a feel for it and figure it out. And what may work for me may not work for you. So a lot of this is about experimentation. You have to be dedicated to this business. You have to be in it for the long haul if you want to see results. Just like the stock market. I mean, you're not going to make all your money in the stock market in 6 months. It's something that goes on for 20, 30, 40 years if you're into that. And eBay is something that will produce in the long run if you are patient and you nurture it and you continue to learn and you love doing it. So that's my speech on that. Okay, going on to the next item here, we've got a scrub top, and this I think I got this at my $2 store. Anyway, it's a medium large size Thanksgiving scrub top, and gosh, another typo in the title. I type so fast and I make mistakes, and sometimes I don't catch them. So yes, this was $2 at a thrift store, and I remember it sold like right away because it was right before Thanksgiving. So it just has turkeys and pilgrims and stuff all over it, and it was just a cute little quick bread and butter type item. So scrub tops do well. I've got a video on that. I think I'll put a link at the top. But again, it's about what's on it. Don't just go out and buy all the scrub tops you see. Is it unique? Does it have a certain character on it? Is it a big size? Is it a hard to find size? Is there something special about it? Is it holiday themed? There's all this criteria you've got to think through before you just start throwing things in your cart at the thrift store. I will never say buy all of any one thing that you see, because it just depends on what it is, and it changes. It constantly changes what is popular on eBay. Okay, let's go on to another one here. This is a Callaway Jacket. It's actually a V-neck golf pullover. This was $2 at a thrift store and it sold for $29.97. It was brand new with the tags and it did not have any type of logo on it as far as golf courses or a company or anything like that. It was just plain navy blue, size large, long sleeve windbreaker. So, very plain looking item, nothing super fantastic about it, nothing that's jumping out at you, but just a good, I call them utilitarian item. $2 sold for $29.97 plus shipping. Okay, I remember this item. This is a paint by number, and it has, it looks kind of like the Old Man and the Sea. It's got a two fishermen in a sailboat with their fishermen of Gloucester type outfits on, and they're in rough seas, pretty blue-green water with the sky and clouds behind them. This was $6 at a thrift store and it sold for $29.97. So a little bit lower than I wanted to take on that one, but still a good sale. And I remember this got lost. I shipped it to California and it had tracking on it and everything, and it just disappeared in the black hole of the USPS. We never figured out what happened to it. I did refund the buyer her money and filed a claim and got my money back from the post office. I think I've only had to do that a couple of times in my whole career on eBay. But she really loved this painting and she really wanted it. I think she was on the coast of California, had a beach house or something. And it just disappeared. So that happens sometimes. Sometimes there's no explanation. You just have to roll with it, do what you can do to make your customer happy. When something does get lost, it's the seller's responsibility to file that claim. So don't ever tell your buyer you have to go file a claim. That's your responsibility because you shipped it. You have the information on the shipping, the tracking number, the receipt, where you purchased the shipping on eBay, all of that. So give the customer their money back, and then you approach the USPS through the proper protocol and get your refund. So it all worked out. I got my money back, but I have no idea where this painting went. So things are going to happen. You just have to, it's not if, it's when and how you respond to things. I think that's one of the biggest problems with newer people on eBay is that you've never had a home business before. And sometimes when things go wrong, people tend to react. They get defensive and they start blaming and get upset and panic. And you have time and space with an internet business where you can step back from the drama, step back from the panic, and figure out what to do. Figure out your response to the buyer, what you're going to say to them in a professional way. It's not like working in a retail store or a bank or a restaurant where you've got that angry customer standing right in front of you and they're yelling at you. You don't have to respond immediately when there's a problem. You can take some time and think about what you're going to do. And I highly advise that when you have an issue with a customer is either, think through it, ask someone, call eBay and ask what to do because you want to handle this professionally. Obviously you want to make that buyer happy so that they'll come back to eBay, and you want to have that buyer have a good impression of eBay and its sellers, and you want to do everything you can to get their positive feedback. So just remember that when something happens, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when if you're in this business. And carefully and mindfully think through how to handle something and respond to people rather than a knee-jerk reaction and say something that you might regret or do something that you might regret later. Okay, this item is a Rush Limbaugh No Boundaries tie. This was $2 at a thrift store. See a pattern here? Everything's $2. And this sold for $29.97. It's basically just an abstract black background with leaves and funky colored ribbons and stuff like that. Um, so I don't do a lot of ties, but I'll pick them up if it's unusual or a name brand that I know, or I just look it up and it looks like something I want to work with. So you can see that I'm kind of all over the board with what I sell, and that's on purpose. I just feel like your business is more balanced. Just like if in the stock market again, you want to invest in different products in different stocks. You want a diverse portfolio, because if you only sell home and garden stuff, that's going to be very seasonal. And if you want a mix of products across different categories that appeal to different types of customers, people with different fashion preferences, people with different hobbies, whatever it is. Me personally, after doing this since 2003, I have found that works the best for steady, consistent sales, um, rather than specializing, unless you're in a very specialized niche that you have a lot of knowledge, like coins or stamps or record albums, things like that that have to be graded, car parts, things that require very specialized knowledge. That's different. But for the general seller that's listening out there that is wanting to buy things from thrift stores or sell stuff in your house, or get a business going, definitely diversity is the best way to go, in my opinion. I'm just one person. You ask 20 sellers, you'll probably get 20 answers, but that's just my preference. Okay, this item is a 100% cashmere sweater, 2-ply, 1X, black crew neck. So, why did I buy this? I paid $5 for this and it sold for $45. And this is one of those perfect storm, kind of perfect cocktail of criteria type items. It is not only 100% cashmere, but it's 2-ply, so it's thicker. It's a size 1X, so it's a plus size, and the color is black. And I have said in previous videos that when eBay provided us with store reports that would show keywords that were searched that led buyers to our listings, color was a big one, and the two colors that I saw the most of were black and pink. So there's that. So this sold for $45. It was a $5 investment. It was basically a very plain looking item, utilitarian item. Wasn't some super high end brand, crazy looking sweater, but good profit on this one. So that's what I mean by a diverse mix of products. You want things that are both unusual as well as plain, basic. I call them uh, clothing staples, like your black pants, your black blazers, black sweaters, things that can be mixed and matched. Okay, let's go to the next item here. This is a Nick and Nora pajama set. This I paid for $4. Paid $4 at a thrift store, sold for $29.97. And it has little Russian nesting dolls as the pattern. And this was a size large, which always helps. And Nick and Nora is a brand that has really whimsical, cute patterns. They have a lot of holiday patterns, very cute stuff. You can sell pajamas either like together as a set or as one piece, one item. And just to remind you, I do have a class. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I have a class in my on my website that is called Women's Clothing Level 2, and it talks all about selling pajamas and shapewear, undergarments, that type of stuff. So let me just show this to you real quick on my website. So I've got level 1, which is your beginner class. It get you all set up to sell clothing. And then this is the next one in the sequence is level 2, and this one talks about um, pajamas, undergarments, shapewear, that type of stuff. So if you're looking to learn more about selling clothing, I do have these courses on my website. And they were written from my experience, all the things I've learned to do, and they're in a specific sequence. So you can go check that out. I've also got this one here that's a combo pack with 4 courses for the price of 3, and it is about 5 hours of training, just like these videos I'm talking to you now, and the Money Making Mondays, and my tutorials, so that you can actually learn what to sell. You don't have to guess. Okay, so let's get back to this. Okay, I remember this item. This is a 100% cashmere Bolero jacket. And a Bolero is could be long or short sleeve jacket that is above the waist length, so it's a little shorter. And I think it comes from the like the matador that does bullfighting. That's the type of jacket he wears. So I think that's where it comes from. I'm If I'm wrong, correct me. This is 100% cashmere. The color is black, and I got this for $2 at a thrift store, and it sold for $45.97. And this is something you just don't see all the time, is a cashmere sweater in a bolero style. So that was a little bit unusual, which is why I got it. Okay, this is another one where I went out of my comfort zone, and this is a little girl's dress. The brand is called House of Hatten, Hatten. It's a smocked dress for a 24-month-old. Color's yellow, and it's got an eyelet collar. And this was $2, and it sold for $19. I just couldn't resist it. When I see these little girls' dresses, and they're cheap enough, I just like to buy them because I think they're cute and pretty, and this is something I like to sell. So that's what eBay should be. It should be what you want to do, not what you have to do. And you can build a business that way. It doesn't have to be, hours and hours of just grunt work that you hate. You can love this business. Okay, this is a Frank Lloyd Wright men's tie. This was $2 at a thrift store, and I sold this for $19.97 because it was Frank Lloyd Wright, and I don't recall ever seeing that on a tie. So that was just something that was unusual that I picked up for $2. Sold it for $19.97. Okay, here's another one. This is a Miracle Suit bathing suit, size 12, and this was also $2. If you're not selling bathing suits, you are missing out. Yes, used bathing suits will sell. You want to wash them like all other clothing that you're going to buy to resell. But bathing suits are expensive. Some bathing suits are over $100 new, and the popular ones may have the slimming feature in the torso, or the padded bra, or the basically where they're just hiding figure flaws, that type of thing. Those can be really expensive. So people will buy them used on eBay. And they don't have to go to warm climates because there's all kinds of indoor things going on with water aerobics, water yoga, just swimming for better health. As population gets older and it's harder for people to walk and jog and do all those kinds of exercises that are hard on your joints, swimming is getting more popular. So, and people go on cruises all the time and vacations. So don't think that just because where you are, people aren't wearing bathing suits. They buy them all the time, and you will be shocked when you start selling them where they get shipped to, because it'll be like January and you'll ship a bathing suit to North Dakota and wonder what the heck is going on with that, but it doesn't really matter because they sell. So this was $2 and it sold for 30, and I put here a note that it sold in November. So you want to check out swimwear if you're not doing that. Okay, let's check another one here. And this is another Nick and Nora. This was a nightgown. It was a girl's size, 10 to 12, and it's blue with Hawaiian theme. So it was $1 at a thrift store and it sold for $22.97. I think I got this at Goodwill and it was half price. So all the children's stuff was like $2 and it was half off, so it was $1. But not bad. $1 sold for $22.97 and it's a kid's. So sleepwear is a good seller. Okay, the next item is, I feel like Bob Barker on The Price is Right. The next item up for bid is this is a Chicos women's size small black belt. And I always look for these belts that have the interesting animals on where the clasp is. I have found this with lizards and frogs and butterflies and all kinds of cool stuff. So it's kind of hard to see here, but the clasps are elephants. And this was $2 and it sold for $19.97. It was a leather belt by Chicos. So again, if you're not looking at everything in the thrift store mindfully, taking your time looking at things, there's stuff you're leaving behind. You just don't realize it. And paying $2 for something and selling it for 20 consistently over and over and over is how you're going to build this business. Because the $100 items, they happen, but they are, it's just not something you're going to do every single day. It's going to be these bread and butter items that add up over time. Okay, this was another $2 item. Women's denim. This is a barn coat with fleece. And this was actually Liz Claiborne, which is not a super high-end brand, but I bought this because it's very utilitarian. It was rugged. It's got the denim. And I can see somebody who's outdoorsy dealing with horses or on a farm or whatever, just living in a cold climate. This is a very practical looking jacket. And it was down past below the hips, so a little bit longer than just a jacket. And so yeah, $2 at my thrift store and sold for 35. And I remember this was quite heavy to ship, but I always do calculated shipping, so that did not affect me at all. That's included in the price. Okay, let's look at the next one. These are Ariat, A-R-I-A-T. I have a video on this brand if you've not heard of it, so check that out. These were size 10 leather clogs. I got these for $6, I think at Goodwill, and they sold for 38. This brand seems to do well for me, so if you're not familiar with Ariat, A-R-I-A-T, it is kind of like an equestrian brand, so go check out my video on that. Okay, let's look at what this is. This is kind of like a walk down memory lane because some of this stuff sold 3 or 4 years ago and it's stuff I would still buy today. So yes, eBay changes, but some things are still consistent over time. And that's what you want to learn if you're in this for the long haul is what works over time. So let's see. This was $5 at an estate sale and it sold for 36. It is a lot of 18 pairs of pantyhose, various sizes, colors. So all kinds of things can be done with pantyhose, like crafts, like people store their onions and garlic in it. People use it to tie up tomato steaks. It can be used with computer parts and devices. Something about you can put it over the fan on your CPU and it filters out dust, and it's just all kind of things that this stuff is used for. So this was 18 pairs that sold for $36 and it only cost me 5. So that was a good deal. So I hope you're seeing some diversity here. Yes, I do a lot of sweaters, but other things too. So I'm going to skip over these two cashmere sweaters just because I've already talked about that. Here's another Rush Limbaugh tie. This one was $2 at a thrift store. I think I got it at the same time I got the other one. Sold for $19.97, and this was called, well, I don't think it had an actual name. It was Butterflies and Flowers. Orange silk tie. Yep, $2, sold for $19.97. Okay, and let me do one last one here, and we will wrap this up for today because I want to go thrifting. These videos help me get motivated to go out and thrift and get more stuff. This was a lot of 30 packs of coffee. I walked into a thrift store, no, an estate sale, and in the kitchen they had this big box of coffee. And I had never heard of this brand. It's called Boresha, Boresha, skinny organic coffee, 1 ounce packs. And it was like a thermogenic fat burning thing. I don't know if it was a fad. I don't know if it even exists anymore. But I sold this for $99.97 in like a day. It sold really fast because apparently it was hard to find. And it was $7. So turned $7 into $100 in about 24 hours. That is what eBay is about. So I hope this video has inspired you to try some different things. Get your products from different places. You know, if you're only a thrift store person, try some estate sales. Try some auctions. Do different things because you're going to find different products in different places. Some things you find at an estate sale you will never see in a thrift store because it's just not going to filter down there. And don't be afraid of estate sales. I think I should do a video on that because a lot of people think, you know, they're overpriced. I'm never going to find anything. There's going to be too many people there that are going to get all the good stuff, or I can't go early enough, so I'm going to miss out. And you just have to work at it. I will do a video on that. I'm going to put that on my list right now because I get that question a lot. How do I do estate sales? What do I look for? How do they work? I'm scared. I've never been. I don't know what to do. And it's interesting. It may not be for you, but you can try it and see. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Would love your feedback on any of these items that I've mentioned. And thank you so much for watching. Remember that my videos are also podcasts on both iTunes and Stitcher, so you can catch them there if you're having a hard time actually watching them on YouTube. Check out my podcasts, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day on eBay. Bye.